Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are going to talk about relationships, and we're going to talk about understanding when we should actually cut somebody out of our life. What is the source perspective of all of this, and how do we truly take all of these triggering moments in our life within relationships, whether it's a friend, whether it is a romantic relationship or family? How do we take these moments and approach it in the highest frequency way, the source perspective way, to make sure we get the most out of our life, the most opening, expansive moment from one of the most triggering things we can feel ever? Because I know relationships are highly triggering, and there's a reason. Relationships are highly complex. To master relationships, there are a million different things going on at once. There's so much communication happening between two people, spiritually and physically, that it takes a lot of tools and understanding to master a relationship. But we're going to start from the beginning. And as you know, I always talk about how this is an inside-out world, meaning anything that you do to yourself or believe about yourself is put on your electromagnetic field. This field creates all circumstance, all matter in your life. And relationships are absolutely no different. These moments that are highly triggering are showing you something that is so deep at the core that I understand that the trigger is highly, highly painful. And our reaction is to just cut these people out. The problem is that if we cut them out, as you've heard me talk about many times, the energy only gets louder because it is ignored and pushed, and we put the responsibility of how we're feeling on this other person. They are just playing out something on our field. And I know that can be highly triggering when you feel as if this person is causing you so much pain that it has to be them. Or, I know we've talked about this before, we feel like this person plays this out for everybody. Well, yes, they may. But that still doesn't mean you aren't a match to it because of something going on inside. Now, do you deserve to be treated the best way possible? 100%. And my job is to help you unlock every part of you, every value that you have, so that you are treated the best way possible. But these moments, I can promise you, are the doorway through. In my life, relationships have been the way that I have conquered and mastered myself more so than maybe anything else in my life. Relationships will push you. They will challenge you, but they will also transform you if you use them in a source way. One reason why I have a feeling most people have really gotten on this wagon of cut people out, they're toxic, they're dark, they're narcissistic, all these catchphrases that we hear all the time, which we will get into in a second so you can understand what each one is tied to. But you have to be really, really cautious of falling into a contagion of labeling something like this person is narcissistic, so I need to walk away. It's a dangerous, dangerous route to take, and I promise you it's the low frequency route. But I do think a huge part of this is because in the spiritual world, as spiritual and high frequency as some of the information may seem, most of it is not above a 400 frequency. A lot of the people teaching it, they have not embodied self-love, which is pretty much the first step of any sort of spiritual growth, which is knowing that you come first. So they're trying to figure this out, and there's a subconscious knowing of I need to master self-love. And we hear this, or at least I have heard this many, many times in the spiritual world, that this person is toxic, cut them out, it's self-love, it's self-care. This person is narcissistic, get them out of your life. It is just the go-to. Somehow self-love has been spun and used in a low-frequency way of dealing with something. And again, do you deserve to be treated like the best person out there? 100%. And there is a way to get there. But I promise you, by just cutting out anything that triggers you is not going to be the way. We can't walk around going, you have done this to me, I need to cut you out. It's not going to work. It's only going to get louder. And it has to be this embodiment of knowing that everything that you are experiencing outside of you is a mirror of something going on inside. And if we do not look at it, we will not heal and change the situation. So just know that this spin of self-love, meaning cut people out, that is not going to be your highest way through this. It is going to be a much more lower frequency, much more turbulent way through. So we have to look at what is the right step here. And before we get into that, let's talk about these moments, why I say that they have transformed my life. For me, I'm always constantly looking at, how do I get the most of this life? How do I make this life count? How do I get the most amount of value out of every single second of my day? Because if I am then unlocking my value to such a level that it just radiates and I start to create the things that I want. So it became very clear to me early on that relationships, people that were triggering me, I used to feel like I had no control over them. And that's probably why a lot of people say cut them out, because they don't feel like they have control over the situation. But you do. And in these moments, I realized I am going to have to conquer this face on. I have to look at it as, okay, this is a moment that can change my life. So just so you know, if you do approach a situation like this and you actually take it on as, I am not going to point any element of this towards the person, and I'm truly going to say that everything that this person is making me feel is something that is going on inside. A few things can happen. You can speed up your timelines, meaning you can pull in things that you are wanting in life much quicker. Secondly, the thing that you will get from this is mastering yourself. The amount of skills that come out of taking somebody who is triggering you and being able to stay calm, cool, and collected, trying to understand what it means about yourself, trying to integrate something, failing at it, and then trying again. That is a mastery of self that no one can touch. If you can take the most uncomfortable situation with a person and turn it on its head for you, you will succeed in so much of your life. You will grow tremendously, which is why you will speed up timelines, because you are mastering self in a situation that is challenging. We do not grow without the challenge. We have to be challenged. And in these situations, we're being challenged. And instead of cutting it out and saying no, and not challenging yourself to go, I got to dig deeper and figure this out, then we lose the value in the situation. And then third, which is the most important, you will heal the thing that you are in pain the most about right now. The thing that is causing you the most amount of pain, that person is showing you. That is why it's so painful. So you are walking around life in a lot of pain about something, and you're asking for the solve, the answer, the thing that's going to get you to feel better. And the people who are triggering you, and mind you, you could feel like, I want my career to be better, or I want my financial state to be better, or I want my mental state to not feel like it's controlling me. And you think it has nothing to do with this person? Well, I promise you, it does. All 8 areas connect. And the pain that you are feeling, you can find the answer in this person. And it's only triggering you to get to that answer. It is trying to point out there is something that you are doing to yourself that you do not deserve. And that is the whole point. You deserve better. But we have to start from us. If we are doing something to ourselves, we cannot expect someone else not to do it to us, because scientifically they can't. But most importantly, you deserve to be treated better. So if you are not the one doing it, no one else can. So just know that in these moments of being highly triggered by somebody, there is so much value, so much that you can gain from these moments, that I encourage you not to run from them. I encourage you to face them full on and no longer use catchphrases of they are narcissistic, they are toxic, they have dark energy, because all of these catchphrases are just going to keep you stuck. You labeled it. Once you label something, you have now an excuse to say, that is what they are. There's nothing I can do about it. And I can tell you that's completely wrong. And we're going to go and break down those things I just listed so you can understand what's going on inside. But no matter what you feel about a person, they are playing out something on your electromagnetic field. And if there's one area that you can master so you can gain the most amount of success in life, financial abundance, it's relationships. We cannot do what we are meant to do on this earth without other people. I can't do this podcast without your help. I can't do this without you guys liking and commenting and sharing. I want to reach as many people as I possibly can, and I can't do that without you guys, honestly. And that is a relationship. We are in a relationship. You're welcome. But seriously, relationships are going to give you something so much more valuable beyond the one relationship in your life. And it is the most complex area to master, which one day, very soon, maybe early next year, we'll do a relationship course. But it is a complex area to master. And like I said, there's many variables going on. But the most important basic one to look at, which isn't that basic, is how you feel about them is something that you are doing to yourself. And it's super important to not ignore it, not to cut it out, not to pretend that that isn't something that is going on inside of you, which is why it's triggering you. So let's look at some of these examples just so you can understand what I'm saying on a deeper level. So let's take narcissistic. Again, society absolutely loves labeling things now. It's some form of, if we label it, then we don't have responsibility for it. If we label it, then it gives some sort of, that's what it is and has nothing to do with me. But it's completely opposite. So narcissistic, one of the biggest topics out there of why people will cut somebody out. They're so narcissistic, you can't deal with them, cut it out. And I've seen it in therapy. I've seen it in the spiritual world. I've seen it all over. And what that means at the core is feeling like you are thinking about yourself too much, because you obviously feel like that's all they are acting as. Me, right? That's what narcissistic is. You feel as if you are being me too much. You have not understood yet that you deserve to be about you. You deserve to make your entire existence about you. And that is not a selfish thing. That is not something that you should think is wrong. This whole world is actually built for you. I'm just a part of your movie. You're just a part of mine. We are in an existence that's all about us. We have a soul pull. We are meant to go get, and everything around us is helping us get there. Every piece of this is about you, and it needs to be about you, because that is what's going to help this entire world raise in frequency. You're going to change more lives that way. But there's a deep, deep core belief that was programmed at a young age of feeling like, if I think about me too much, it's a no-go. And I'm thinking about myself too much. That's selfish. That's wrong. It shouldn't be about me. It should be about others. And it's too much. If you're in that state, you will be a match to someone that you feel as if is being narcissistic. Now, if you shift that belief, they change. So if we go back to what we're talking about, a therapist or the spiritual world saying, yes, cut them out, they're narcissistic, how dare them? We even have leaders that people think are narcissistic. We have all sorts of things. Why? Because they are a mirror of this feeling. And think about it. This is your doorway to freedom. They are showing you exactly the pain that you are feeling inside, because I'm sure it's actually very painful, because your core self, your soul self knows at the core, I'm important. And this is all about me. And it should be, because I can't get to where I want to go without it being about me. But your human program self is saying, I'm thinking about myself too much. They contradict. And the reason why you're in pain is you're believing a low frequency belief. You're believing something that keeps you lower, right? That keeps you at bay. And that's why it's painful. That's why the person reflecting this back, it's painful because you are embodying a belief that you don't deserve. Hence why you don't deserve that person treating you that way or making you feel that way. But the only way to get what we deserve, truly get what we deserve, is to take the value out of these moments and no longer label it as a way out, as a way of saying that's just what they are, so I don't have to have any responsibility of how it makes me feel. Because it will just get louder. It will move to work. It will move to money. It will move to any area, family, all of it, depending on where it already was. If it's in family, it won't go to family. It's already there. It will just get louder. So just know that there's always an emotional root to these catchphrases that are out there. So let's look at another one. Toxic. Oh, that word is used so much in the spiritual world. They're toxic. Get them out. Toxic, toxic. You're so spiritual. You're so evolved, and they're so toxic. It's dangerous. It's feeling as if there's something toxic within you that is destroying your life. Now, for example, you could be very toxic with how you talk about your body, right? You could be destroying yourself inside with the toxicity of how you are talking to yourself about your body or about your mental state. And that toxicity is actually kind of like mold. It is just wreaking havoc on you. This is what's going to make you a match to somebody who feels extremely toxic. They are playing out very low frequency beliefs that feel like they are toxic. They are mold to your system. And mold and that stuff takes a while to be created. Moisture, right? Time. And that's what I mean. You have time that you're thinking constantly, even fungus. It's like it takes a long time to build that stuff, but it's usually moisture and time. So you have to think that your thoughts, because of the amount of time you are thinking about it and really focusing in on those thoughts, and they could be subconscious or they could be conscious, but like kind of in the background constantly. That level of focus on something that is so wrong will cause this toxicity in your whole system that will make you feel sick. That it could cause a sickness down the road. Thank God this person is being toxic because they are showing you, get rid of this feeling, because if you don't, it will turn into something a lot worse. So toxic people are pointing out that there's something toxic going on inside of you that you at the core, again, do not want to embody, and you know you don't deserve to be treated that way. So again, we're going back to there's a difference between self-love and deserving, right? Self-love is knowing you have to put yourself first. You have to get something out of a situation. And trust me, these negative situations, you are getting gold. It is the moments that have given me the most, the most amount of gold. So you're getting a lot back in these situations. Now, do you deserve more? Yes, that's the difference, right? But we have to start from, are you treating yourself the way that you deserve? And the answer is no, if this is how you're feeling. So let's go to the third one, which, man, oh man, has this one, I feel like I hear constantly. It's, again, humans will love to take something that they know, and as long as it's labeled, it's off of their hands. They're not responsible. And it is that they have dark energy. They're dark. They're dark. Dark, 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 dark. And yes, does dark energy exist? 100%. We will go into that when the time is right, even more. We have one episode on it, but we will go much more into that there are dark entities like demons and all of that. Trust me, it's a little different than Hollywood, but it all does exist. What I also like to call absence of light, right? Their absence of sources light. It does exist. And do people choose to use the dark side and go off path and disconnect from source? Yes. And it'll be very clear because their frequency will be 0. They will be using fear to try to go through their life. But I will promise you this, that most people that you are triggered by like that, they're not dark. They are just triggering you. It feels dark, and there's a reason. We'll talk to about the emotional root to that. But what I want to be clear is there is real dark. There is real people who are choosing to disconnect from source and choosing to use a dark entity to control their life because they feel powerless. And a lot of those people are in big names out there, big things that you may think are backwards. What you think is dark is probably light, and what you think is light is dark. They're very good at hiding. Hence why when someone is triggering you and it feels dark, it's usually not that obvious. Trust me, the dark side is very smart at creating a very pretty picture to lure you in. And if you're feeling like someone is dark, it's probably too obvious. So it's probably a no. And again, when you're in that space of shutting off from source, the likelihood of that coming into your world right up front of somebody you're dating or something, it's probably very, very low. We'll get into that a lot more when we talk about dark forces. But if we are feeling like someone is dark, it means you keep getting an intuitive hit about something in your life, but you keep caving to a lower frequency belief and not listening to the intuition. So what it really means is you are caving to that dark, low frequency belief instead of listening to your inner compass. You could have an idea for a business, but you keep caving to no one's going to care. So what's the point? Your intuition is saying, start, do this, go ahead. And then you cave to, I'm not ready, or no one's going to care. Those are the dark, lower frequency beliefs that you keep caving to. So you feel like this person is dark, right? Like they're pulling you down. They're bringing you to this darker, deep level of existence that you think is just dark. If you are matched to that feeling, it means that's exactly what you're doing somewhere else. You keep getting these hits, yet you keep caving and pulling yourself down and refusing to get out of this lower frequency headspace and pull yourself out of it to go, nope, intuition is saying this. I'm going to trust source. I'm going to go the light route. So as you can see, darkness, you need to be able to test if someone is actually dark. And it's a very easy way of doing it if you use your intuition. But if you feel as if someone's dark that you've dated, it might not be it. Now, again, like I said, there's a lot of people out there in Hollywood and music industry that are dark. And your intuition might be like, yeah, that is dark. But again, you might be even a match to hearing that or seeing it or feeling that to get you to go, hey, by the way, this is going on somewhere in your life. But again, this is why if we feel this about someone else, we can't just label it and not listen to it. We have to, if we feel this way, go, what does that mean about what I'm doing to myself? And as you can see, out of these 3 examples, and there's a million other ones, right? Being taken advantage, boundaries, cults, all sorts of things, right? There's so many things with people that are highly triggering, but you have to be an emotional match to that experience. And that means something inside wants to be shifted and changed. So there are times when you're in a relationship, specifically in a romantic one, there's 2 intuitive questions you can ask to see if you have outgrown each other, that this is not a good match and it's best to move on. It should come from an intuitive, non-emotional space. Just that, yep, this is right. If any relationship is leaving your life, it should naturally happen. Just organically happen. If you are forcing someone out of your life because you are angry or triggered, it is not the answer. Source is going to say, we have to look at this as perfection, meaning they are giving you something that is gold. Yes, do you deserve more? 100%, 100%. But you have to get the message to get what you deserve. And if you don't get it, if you don't decide to heal it, and you just choose to put the blame on someone else and cut them out, you will never heal that wound. It will maybe it'll just get louder and louder. And at some point, You may go, okay, fine, I'm listening. Something's going on. But you will slow down timelines, right? You have a goal in life. You want things in life, and these moments are going to give them to you. But if you push them out, cut them out, you cannot grow in these moments, and you're just going to get a repetitive situation. So going back to the very beginning, is it self-love to do this? The answer is no. The only self-love thing to do in situations like this is come from an intuitive place of, have I outgrown this person that I've been dating? Are we just no longer going to help each other grow? Are our lessons done, right? There are intuitive questions to ask. But again, it is extremely rare. I have people come to me all the time. They're upset about their partner. They're upset about a family member. And my suggestion is never to leave a situation unhappy. Get to the best place possible in your relationship and then decide, because 99% of the time you will be happy. And it's not about them. They are not the thing that is causing the pain. Something else inside is causing the pain, and they are just on a deep, deep, deep soul level. Their soul is saying, I'm going to play the villain in your life. You're going to hate me, but I love you enough to play this out so you can get the growth and love yourself deeper, and vice versa. We play things out for people also. And sometimes we're very unconscious of that, or we're conscious of it, and we're doing the exact same thing. So just know, on a source level and on your soul level, these souls are choosing to play out the villain for a very good reason. Don't let it go to waste. Don't cut it out and do what the spiritual world loves to talk about is it's toxic, it's dark. Cut them out. Don't do what the physical world labels things as. They're narcissistic. Let go of the catchphrases. Get rid of this idea that you can label something and that allows you to take responsibility off of what's happening to you, because that is no way out. You will miss a lot of value and a lot of opening in your life. Never walk away from something unhappy. If you are negative, feeling, or getting triggered, that is not your green light to walk away. That is not your green light to say, you know what, this isn't going to work out. That is your green light to say, holy cow, they are showing me the deepest pain that I'm feeling right now. And if I can understand it, I can heal it in myself. I can speed up a timeline. I can master myself more than ever. And then I can get to a balanced place to actually see what this relationship will end up being. And sure, two people might walk away because it's from a loving place of, yeah, we've outgrown each other. Or it's, oh my God, you're my best friend. Let me know how this all feels. I know this can be extremely triggering, especially when somebody is causing so much pain, but just remind yourself that the level of pain that they are causing you is the level of pain that is going on inside, the level of imbalance that is going on inside. And your soul is just wanting the highest frequency way of treating yourself, the way that you deserve. And this is your way of getting it. Thanks so much for joining. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, comment, or share with somebody that you know. I would like to reach and help as many people as possible, and I cannot do that without you. So I appreciate the support.